If something's a little bit out of the ordinary or maybe strange, we may call it weird. How does that apply to real estate? It's the Real Estate Show. Welcome to the Real Estate Show. My name's Rick Naples, the owner-broker of Zone Realty LLC. You zone your home. Weirdness, or something weird. It's a very interesting word, and it can be used to describe a number of different things. We have very weird laws that are on the books. We have some very weird real estate that's out there for sale, and just some weird things that go on throughout the world. As a realtor, I've been in this business a number of years, and it never ceases to amaze me when I go into someone's home, some of the things that I might see while I'm touring that particular house. Everyone has their own specific tastes and their own way of doing things. Maybe they've added an addition to the home or changed some things structurally to the house to fit their own particular needs that might not fit what I'm looking for, and I might consider it a little weird or strange. And some things are just downright crazy. But I think before we get into any of the presentations that I want to do here on the Real Estate Show, the first thing to do is kind of look at what is the actual definition of the word weird. Every once in a while, when you're in real estate, you come across some very interesting things. Things that are a little bit strange, or as I said earlier, maybe a little bit crazy. Kind of weird stuff. You know, I do a lot of research on the internet as part of my regular business, trying to find answers and inquiring about different things for my clients. And I got to thinking about all the different things I've experienced as a realtor over the years. And some of the things that I came across that were a little bit out of the ordinary. It got me to start thinking about what's really weird out there in real estate. And the first thing I started thinking about, since we're into a new year, is what about the laws? Are there any strange or weird laws here in our state, the state of Connecticut, that apply to real estate that maybe a lot of people aren't aware of? So I took a look and I put together this presentation of some of the very weird and strange laws we still have on our books here in our state. Let's take a look. I'm talking here on the Real Estate Show about weirdness, strange things, crazy things you come across in this very interesting business that I'm in. And I started again doing some looking around. And here our state has some not only weird laws, as we just saw, but there are some very interesting real estate places throughout the state. So I thought I'd put together a presentation about those particular places, just as a curiosity or to have some fun and take a look and see what's out there. But in the meanwhile, before we do that, I thought it would be a great idea to take a look at a virtual tour of a home that's on the market. And this one's not weird. This is a pretty nice little house. Throughout our particular state, we have some very interesting places that are out there that you can tour or go visit that are kind of weird. It's what I call weird real estate. Unusual, something unique. And I thought I'd put together a presentation just to take a look at those two things and have a little bit of fun. You know, there's a lot of different types of things that are out there as far as real estate is concerned. And on this particular show, since we're talking about things that are weird, I thought this would be kind of appropriate. So let's take a look at this presentation of some weird places in our state. Here on the Real Estate Show, I'm always trying to present information that hopefully is informative or maybe even a little bit entertaining for you, my viewers. And every once in a while, I decide to do a show that's kind of a little bit off the track of just regular real estate transactions and what goes on in a real estate deal. And that's why I'm doing this show. I thought I'd lighten it up a little bit and talk about some of those weird things that we see out there. As you just saw in that past presentation, those are some of the weird places we actually have here in our state that you can read about or go visit as far as real estate is concerned. Earlier in the show, I had done a presentation for you about weird laws in the state of Connecticut, and I started to think, well, if we have weird laws on the books here in our state, what about other states throughout our country? So I started again to do a little bit of research, and I came up with some of the really strange ones that are out there, and I put them together for you to take a look at. Let's take a look. What might be strange or unusual or maybe even thought of as crazy in some people's view might be the norm in other people's view. When it comes to our homes, we tend to very much personalize them as we live in them throughout the years. And a lot of times we do not really pay attention to some of the things that a set of fresh eyes may see. You know, we all have that habit. If you're having someone come over to visit at your home, you know how you kind of look at the house and you go through and you clean and you straighten up and maybe you go a little bit more beyond what you normally would do in your regular living circumstances because you're going to have guests coming to the home. You know, I've even had people move furniture around or change the pictures on the walls in a room just to kind of stage it up a little bit because they're going to have other eyes on the property. And this is the same thing that you do when you put your house on the market. You take a look at what's going on in the house, you clean, you straighten out, you declutter, you do a lot of different things because you don't want a buyer to come into your house and think, this is very strange, this is kind of crazy, this is a little weird as far as how the house might be arranged or the things that are out in the house. I always like to tell a story or two once in a while in my career, and we once had a house on the market. It was a nice little 3-bedroom, 2-bath ranch-style home, but this home had teenagers living in it. And of course, teenagers constantly change the different types of things they're into or they like. And in this particular situation, one of the children was into, I guess, what they call goth or gothic, the goth look. So she had a very dark room with very strange posters all over the walls, strange clothing, and she was a little bit messy of an individual. So when we went to show the home and we went to show that particular bedroom off, the buyer's reaction was, well, this is kind of weird, and it kind of made an imprint on him that maybe the whole household was a little strange. Not really fair, obviously. But my advice to the sellers after that was simply you might want to tell your daughter that the house is up for sale. You kind of got to change it up a little bit because not a lot of people may be into what you're into. It goes the same thing with animals. I always like to make a mention here on the real estate show about your animals. Now, dogs, cats, and small little animals, usually not a big issue unless there's allergies to them. But if you're the type of individual that has a specific, unique, weird, strange taste in your pets, in other words, maybe you're into reptiles, maybe you're into, spiders or tarantulas or those kinds of things, you want to make sure that you put those aside or put them in a safe place or cover them up, because not everybody may agree with you as far as those kinds of pets that are concerned. And it can put off and distract a buyer from looking at the house. Instead, they're looking at the reptiles or the spiders or whatever you might have in the house. So again, my advice is pay attention to that. Simple technique, and I've shared it with many clients, and I share it here on the real estate show. When you go to put your house on the market, go around and come in through the front entrance of the home, see where your eyes land, what are the first things that you see. If there's anything negative or you think strange or weird, you want to address it. And then go on and take a few minutes to just walk through your home to make sure that you're looking at the house like a buyer might look at the house, and each room in the house is expressing its best. It's looking its best, especially if you have rooms that might be a little smaller, where you have big furniture in them. You might want to take the big furniture out so the rooms look a little bit bigger. And don't forget your closets. You do want to thin those out a little bit, because one of the things buyers look for is storage. What is weird? How do you define that? Well, that's a matter of opinion. We saw earlier in the show the definition of the word weird and what weird actually means. But, that's kind of up to everybody to judge. What might be perfectly normal for you may be considered weird by others. Who knows? Don't hold back your personality and your expressions, obviously, as far as your home is concerned, but keep in mind that when buyers are coming to look at a home that's for sale, they want to imprint their own tastes, their own views, their own visions on that home. So if you have anything unique, collections, maybe you collect different things throughout the world, or a unique type of collection or a specific type of collection, that might not be to everybody's appeal. So you might want to pack those things away. Let's take a look at this, and I'll be back with the section of the show I call the Real Estate Mailbag. This is the part of the real estate show I call the real estate mailbag. It's my opportunity to address questions that are asked to me here at the real estate show or just sent in to us. A lot of times I get emails that, well, they're a little bit weird. They're a little bit out of the ordinary from what I normally see. What I mean by that is there's no question that anyone could ask that is an improper question or an incorrect question or even a naive question. You know, questions need to be asked when you're looking to purchase or make the biggest expenditure you're going to make probably in your lifetime, and that is purchase a home. And even if you're a seller and you're selling a home, don't be afraid to ask specific questions. Realtors don't find your questions weird. They find them sometimes unique, and sometimes a little bit of craziness comes out because maybe that individual has been talking to friends who aren't really into the real estate market or really don't understand a real estate transaction. So keep in mind that all questions are good questions and don't be afraid to ask them. My name is Rick Naples and this has been the Real Estate Show. I thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.